Boeing once dominated China's skies, its aircraft a familiar sight in the world's fastest-growing aviation market. But now, the American giant faces a crisis that threatens its very future in Asia. China, once Boeing's biggest international customer and a key pillar of its global business, has effectively shut down its operations within its borders, halting new orders and deliveries. This dramatic shift is the result of years of escalating trade tensions, political disputes, and Beijing's strategic decision to reduce reliance on American technology. China is no longer just a customer, it's now a formidable competitor and a rising geopolitical force, determined to chart its own course in aviation. The grounding of Boeing's future in China signals a new era in global trade, one where old alliances are being tested and new rivalries are emerging. For decades, Boeing and Airbus ruled the skies together, their duopoly shaping the industry. But that era is ending as new players enter the field. China's halt on new Boeing deliveries and the indefinite postponement of a mega deal for hundreds of jets is a direct response to U.S. trade policies, tariffs, and growing mistrust. China is striking back by targeting a symbol of American industry, sending a clear message to Washington and the world. But this isn't just about retaliation, it's about China's own ambitions to lead in high-tech manufacturing and innovation. By sidelining Boeing, China is giving its state-owned COMAC the space and support it needs to grow into a global contender. The C919 jet is quickly becoming a reality, challenging Western dominance in aviation and signaling a new chapter for the industry. The consequences ripple far beyond Boeing's factories, threatening thousands of U.S. jobs and impacting communities that depend on the aerospace sector. This is a historic decoupling of the world's two largest economies, with implications for global trade, politics, and technology. The crisis raises urgent questions about the future of American technological leadership and the country's ability to compete on the world stage. Other nations are now seeking alternatives to U.S. technology, reshaping global supply chains and accelerating the shift toward a multipolar world. The dragon has roared, and the American eagle faces a turbulent new sky, one filled with uncertainty and fierce competition. Boeing's reliance on China, once a strength, is now a glaring vulnerability in a rapidly changing world. The old rules of global trade are gone, replaced by a new reality where power and influence are constantly shifting. The world's aviation landscape has changed, possibly forever, as new players and new technologies reshape the industry. Boeing must now navigate a future it can no longer control, forced to adapt or risk being left behind in the new age of global aviation. China was once Boeing's crown jewel, accounting for a quarter of its orders. For decades, the company's fortunes were closely tied to the explosive growth of Chinese aviation, with every new airport and airline expansion fueling Boeing's rise. Now China is less than 5% of Boeing's order book. The dramatic fall from grace is stark, and the numbers tell a story of lost opportunity and shrinking influence. In 2025, China ordered its airlines to stop accepting new Boeing jets, ending business as usual. The move sent shockwaves through the global aviation industry and left Boeing scrambling for answers. The collapse was sealed by the indefinite postponement of a massive aircraft deal. Years of negotiations and planning evaporated overnight, leaving both sides at a standstill. U.S. tariffs and threats to block Boeing parts pushed China to act. The escalating trade war made it clear that relying on American suppliers was a vulnerability China could no longer afford. The risk of grounding China's entire Boeing fleet was too great for Beijing. The government prioritized stability and control over its aviation sector, even if it meant cutting ties with a longtime partner. While the short-term delivery impact is small, the long-term outlook is catastrophic. Boeing's production lines are slowing, and the company's global reputation is taking a hit. Boeing is locked out of the world's most important aviation market. China's demand for new planes is unmatched, and now that demand is going elsewhere. Years of partnership and investment in China are now in ruins. Factories stand empty, and the workforce that once built Boeing's future is left behind. China sees reliance on Boeing as a strategic risk and is de-risking its economy. The government is investing heavily in domestic aviation and technology to ensure self-sufficiency. The door to China is shut, and Boeing's future profits have vanished. The company's financial health is under threat, and investors are growing anxious. This isn't just about lost sales. It's a loss of trust and strategic position. Boeing's influence in Asia is fading, and competitors are eager to fill the gap. Boeing's finishing center and local supplier relationships are now liabilities. The infrastructure built for growth is now a reminder of what's been lost. China is determined to reduce dependence on American technology. The rise of homegrown aircraft like the COMAC C919 signals a new era for Chinese aviation. The market is lost, and with it, a major part of Boeing's future. The company's global ambitions have suffered a devastating blow. The collapse is a warning to all U.S. companies. Global markets can close overnight. No business, no matter how established, is immune to geopolitical risk. Boeing's China dream has become a nightmare. The company is left searching for new markets and new strategies in a changed world. The company faces an uncertain future, with its most important international partnership now just a memory. Boeing's crisis in China is matched by chaos at home. The company reported a $3.3 billion loss in Q3 2025, part of a pattern of financial distress. Revenues are weak, profit margins eroded, and cash is burning fast. Production is crippled by labor strikes, quality issues and delays, especially in the troubled 777X program. CEO Kelly Ortberg admits many failures are self-inflicted, with speed and cost-cutting prioritized over safety. A recent cargo plane crash has further damaged Boeing's reputation. With China closed, Boeing desperately needs smooth operations, but factories are in turmoil. Financial losses, production chaos and safety concerns threaten the company's survival. The once mighty giant now looks vulnerable and adrift. Boeing's future depends on fixing deep-rooted internal problems. Fast. As Boeing stumbles, Airbus and China's COMAC are rising fast. Airbus now dominates China, delivering 136 new planes in 2025 and holding a 55% market share. Its local assembly line in Tianjin cements a long-term commitment, while the A321neo outshines Boeing's 737 MAX. With Boeing sidelined, Chinese airlines are turning to Airbus. Meanwhile, COMAC is accelerating production of its C919 jet, with hundreds of domestic orders. China's government is backing COMAC to replace foreign jets and expand abroad. Brunei's adoption of Chinese certification rules opens new export markets for COMAC. While not yet matching Boeing or Airbus in scale, COMAC is now a real competitor. The trade war has given China's aviation industry a historic boost. Boeing's loss is Airbus and COMAC's gain. Boeing's crisis is rippling through the entire U.S. industrial base, sending shockwaves far beyond the company itself. Thousands of suppliers and high-paying jobs are at risk as orders vanish and production slows. Families and entire communities are feeling the strain, with uncertainty clouding the future for many skilled workers. The loss of China as a major customer threatens the stability of countless businesses and communities, especially in regions that depend on manufacturing for their livelihoods. This isn't just about numbers, it's a hollowing out of America's manufacturing strength, erasing decades of hard-won progress and innovation. The crisis accelerates a global move away from American technology, as international competitors seize new opportunities and fill the gaps left behind. U.S. export controls are backfiring, pushing countries to develop their own alternatives and invest heavily in homegrown innovation. China is fast-tracking its own jet engines, and India is turning to Russian jets, reducing their reliance on American-made products. America's competitive edge in high-tech industries is eroding, as innovation and investment shift overseas at an alarming pace. The ripple effect is a strategic retreat from global leadership, with the U.S. losing influence in critical sectors and international markets. The U.S. must confront the reality: its industrial dominance is no longer guaranteed, and the consequences are becoming impossible to ignore. The Boeing shock is a warning for all of American industry, a signal that urgent action is needed to prevent further decline. The world is moving on, and the U.S. must adapt, innovate, and invest in its future, or risk falling permanently behind. The stakes are nothing less than America's future as a global industrial power, and the choices made now will shape generations to come. As Boeing's commercial business collapses, Washington's focus shifts to military production. Trade policies that hurt Boeing are justified as national security measures. The government's main intervention, ending strikes at Boeing's defense plants and ramping up missile and fighter jet output. This military-first approach ignores the broader industrial crisis. There's no large-scale support for suppliers or diplomatic effort to repair U.S.-China trade. Instead, tensions are rising, making commercial recovery harder. Meanwhile, America's own infrastructure is crumbling. The air traffic control system is outdated and understaffed, with deadly consequences. Billions are promised for upgrades, but skepticism remains. The contrast is stark: military buildup, but basic economic infrastructure in decline. Boeing's troubles in China are a preview of a new era for American business. The age of U.S. economic dominance is ending. The world is fracturing along geopolitical lines. American companies can no longer count on open global markets. Competitors like COMAC, backed by state power, are rising fast. U.S. industry must innovate, modernize, and invest in its workforce to compete. The future may be divided into economic blocks, or it may be chaotic and unpredictable. Either way, America can't take its leadership for granted. Overcoming these challenges requires a national commitment to rebuilding industrial strength. Smart policies, investment in innovation, and long-term thinking are essential. The turbulence Boeing faces is a warning: adapt or be left behind. The future of American industry is at a crossroads.